It's still Earthquake Awareness Month, and in this Friday's magazine, we'll feature earthquake drills held at schools across the island. We'll see how schools in St. Elizabeth, including Burnt Savannah, Schoolfield, and Newcomb Valley Primary, are preparing. The goal? To keep our students informed and prepared to drop, cover, and hold in the event of an earth tremor. Also, we're highlighting the significant achievements within the Ministry of Labour and Social Security for 2024. And much more. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, January 24, 2025. The government of Jamaica, through the Ministry of Health and Wellness, has formalized plans with the Republic of the Philippines to boost the country's healthcare workforce. A memorandum of understanding on health cooperation was signed during a ceremony at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston on Thursday. It's the main outcome of a 3-day official visit to the island, led by Secretary of Health for the Republic of the Philippines, Dr. Teodoro J. Herbosa. This follows a visit to the Philippines in December by senior technocrats in the Ministry of Health and Wellness to further health cooperation dialogue between both countries. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says the MOU is a transformational step in keeping with efforts to right-size service delivery in the public health system.
It remains our commitment to right-size the healthcare system to be more responsive to healthcare challenges being faced by the Jamaican people, including chronic illnesses, dengue, emergent diseases that continue to surface since COVID-19. And in this regard, the support and cooperation are not merely beneficial, they are essential for knowledge and resource sharing and strategizing to build a resilient and robust health workforce capable of addressing both present and future health threats.
Included in this wide-ranging agreement is capacity building and knowledge sharing in biotechnology, medical equipment, epidemiology, healthcare management, and health professional training and certification. The agreement will also facilitate exchange visits for specialist nurses and other health professionals.
The Philippines looks forward to working closely with our Jamaican counterparts to turn the vision of this agreement into a reality. An immediate next step will be the organization of a joint technical working group to draft the plan of action and also sending immediately of a couple of health workers to the country Jamaica from the Philippines.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has reaffirmed his commitment to establishing Jamaica as an international financial services hub.
It is our intention to ensure that we complete the legislative framework to ensure that Jamaica can become an international financial service center.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the Jamaica Stock Exchange's Investments and Capital Markets Conference held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston on Tuesday. He urged all stakeholders in Jamaica's financial sector to collaborate in achieving this vision. For the government's part, he points to key laws that have already been passed, including the Partnership General Act and the Trust and Corporate Services Providers Act. The final piece of the legislative framework is the Limited Liability Companies Act, which is being revised to ensure it aligns with global expectations.
This act aims to provide a more business-friendly framework than the Companies Act. This legislative suite reflects the government's commitment to creating a modern business environment that supports both local and foreign enterprises while ensuring compliance with global standards. It will offer new business structures, attract investments, and solidify Jamaica's place as an international business hub.
The Montego Bay Perimeter Road project is now approximately 55% complete and is scheduled for completion in May 2026. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness gave the update as he addressed the House of Representatives earlier this week. China Harbor Engineering Company, CHEC, was awarded the $274 million design build construction contract. In addition to construction of the 15.1 kilometers bypass road, it involves rehabilitation and expansion of the Barnett Street West Green Avenue roadway. The project also covers construction of the Long Hill Bypass to reduce traffic congestion and a comprehensive drainage study of the Montego Bay bypass area.
The Long Hill Bypass was originally designed as 2 lanes to be later expanded to 4 lanes. However, the government has decided to expand to 4 lanes now for significant cost savings and the benefits it will afford residents of St. James and indeed Westmoreland.
90% of the work on the Montego River Bridge has also been completed.
I toured the bridge and it is a fantastic piece of infrastructure. It's the largest bridge in Jamaica.
More than 200 farmers in the communities of Grants Bailey and Thatch Walk in St. Anne are set to benefit from the repair of crucial farm roads. The Castle, or Grants Bailey to Norwood, and Thatch Walk to Norwood farm roads were completed at a combined cost of $27 million under the Ministry of Agriculture's National Farm Work Project. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says they're not only providing easier access for farmers, but others in the communities as well.
The reality is that roads are critical to raise the level of standard of living of our rural communities. Not only are these roads helping our farmers, but they're helping our children go to school, they're helping everybody who traverses the areas.
The road repairs completed thus far represent Phase 1 of the National Farm Work Project, which plans to continue over the next 3 years. It's part of a national program where the Ministry of Agriculture is allocating over $800 million this year for the improvement of more than 70 roads across the island. Widely acclaimed poet, playwright and novelist Professor Kwame Dawes has been appointed Poet Laureate of Jamaica for 2025 to 2028. He was bestowed with the insignia by Deputy Governor General Stedman Fuller during the ceremony of investiture held at King's House on Wednesday. Professor Dawes is the 4th Poet Laureate in post-independent Jamaica. He succeeds prolific poet, Olive Sr., accomplished author Lorna Goodison, and literary giant Professor Mervyn Morris. Professor Dawes, who was born in Ghana in 1962 and relocated to Jamaica in 1971, is the author of more than 30 poetry books and numerous other works, including essays, criticism, and fiction. The Poet Laureate, among other things, is expected to stimulate a greater appreciation for Jamaican poetry and create an avenue for public involvement in the spoken arts. Minister of Culture Olivia Grange says Professor Dawes brings an unparalleled depth of experience and insight that is well suited to the role.
Professor Dawes' work, often delving skillfully into themes of identity, resilience, and the rich tapestry of Jamaican life, makes him a fitting ambassador for the nation's literary voice.
In his response, Professor Dawes, who is one of the co-founders of the Calabash International Literary Festival, underscored the immense value of the Office of the Poet Laureate of Jamaica.
The establishment of the Office of the Poet Laureate of Jamaica is a gesture towards service. It recognizes the role of the poet in society and in the legacy of our great Jamaican poets who have year after year sought language to capture in some way the history of sentiment and experience in our time. And I consider my role one of affirming this nation's desire to facilitate and make possible the room in which anyone caught in the dream and desire and compulsion to talk, to articulate experience with the beautiful execution of language to remain available to them.
And finally, the final match of the 3-game series between the Sunshine Girls and South Africa is set for Saturday, January 25 at the National Indoor Sports Centre. Jamaica currently leads the series 2-0, having secured a 55-47 victory last Saturday and a 59-47 win on Wednesday night, earning them the Margaret Beckford Sunshine Series trophy. Head coach for the Sunshine Girls, Sashige Henry Wright, says the team gave an improved performance.
The girls have built a good cohesion. They have been mentally tough. They have showed resilience in terms of their preparation and in terms of their competition. Still more room for growth because it's an early season in our journey. It's our second test, and the fact that they have won back-to-back is quite impressive.
Defender Latanya Wilson stole the show, earning MVP honors for the game.
I look behind front of me and I said, guys, we need to get one and we work together as a unit. I'll be selfish to say it's only me here on court, but I think it was a defense unit and it was an all-in-one, a team unit as well.
The final match between Jamaica's Sunshine Girls and South Africa is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Join us as we look back at a remarkable year of hope and resilience for the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, Monday, January 27, inside Jamaica Magazine.
Thank you for staying with us. Up next, we walk it back to 2024, when the Ministry of Labour and Social Security spent every day improving the labour force and welfare needs of Jamaicans. Our year in review feature spotlights some of those days and the developments they witnessed.
If you represent your country with a dignified, disciplined, and determined, purposeful way, you will find that hundreds of others will be able to gain. $14,932 Jamaicans are currently registered on the Social Pension Program. Beginning this month, beneficiaries will receive an increase of over 76% in their bi-monthly benefits, moving from $6,800 to $12,000, Mr.
Speaker. Effective the 1st of June, the national minimum wage will increase from $30,000 per 40-hour week to $15,000.
With this MOU, we are going to change the mindset and the attitude. We are going to provide more skills training. In terms of this partnership today, I know that we will be facilitating the disbursement of £160,000, part of a larger £500,000 regional effort to assist more than 2,000 Jamaicans affected by Hurricane Beryl.
There is a need for the government to establish that as we give, we can account for what we give.
We focus on giving support to those who need the support to weather life's storms, whether it is unexpected loss of a job, whatever it is. This project, Spyro, promises to help us in our effort to ensure that no one is left behind.
Social media is fun,
but it can also be unsafe.
To ensure our safety, we need to be smart. That's right. The first thing to know is that being on social media carries certain risks. So, being a smarty pants on these platforms will work in your favor.
Here are a few tips to keep in mind. Be careful about what you share. Know your audience by limiting who can see your posts. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Meeting people online can be exciting, but always stay cautious. Beware of catfishing.
To learn more about how to stay safe online, visit the Office of the Children's Advocate at www.welcome.oca.gov.jm.
Teachers, parents, and children alike,
stay smart, stay safe.
Okay, give her a clap for me. Very, very good. Right, so you should stay under there a little longer, right? Until you hear the second alarm. Okay?
The Negril and Green Island Area Local Planning Authority oversees 74,000 acres of land in Westmoreland and Hanover, focusing on development applications and enforcing planning laws. If you're planning to build in these areas, you'll need to apply. More details next.
My name is Althea Mackenzie Stewart, Chief Operating Officer, Negril, Green Island Area Local Planning Authority. So the Negril and Green Island Area Local Planning Authority is a authority which straddles parishes of Westmoreland and Hanover. We have a development order area, and within that area we straddle two parishes. We're also guided by a development order, and that is what is used to guide developments within the development order area. We look at orderly and progressive development of all lands described in the development order. However, anybody that is building within the Negril Green Island Area Local Planning Authority would need to submit applications to the authority. We have a board that is appointed by the minister with responsibility, which would in this case be the Honorable Prime Minister. And that board would look at all application as it relates to a decision. So the development applications as it relates to residential developments are granted planning permission by NIGALPO's board. The other applications that would have been called in would go to the Town and Country Planning Authority for a decision after a recommendation from NIGALPO. The developments through strategic planning, processing development application, ensuring compliance with the planning standards, and also mitigating environmental risk and fostering sustainable growth. The authority's recommendation and approval of development projects, which is done through our board, will process, but our board would be responsible for a decision. We look at housing solutions. We look at tourism infrastructure. which contribute to economic growth and job creation, balancing economic, social, and environmental considerations, which would be suitable for sustainable development. So that would be how we impact national development, given the projects that we would be processing and what the board would be approving or recommending going forward. As it relates to development, we will look at orderly and sustainable development within the area. So we would look at, as it relates to key priorities and the benefits, economic growth. We look at sustainable ecotourism, supporting rural livelihoods, because our area, we do have a lot of rural areas within the development order area. Processing innovative housing solutions via public-private partnership, which would enhance community living, because it's a resort town. So if we are looking at development, we're looking at tourism. If there's a new hotel, we'll also look at where will these persons live. So housing solutions will also be important. Water resilience, with what is happening now with water, we have to look at rainwater harvesting and efficient management systems. So when developers do submit applications to us, we'll ask, what are your plans as it relates to water? Because it's a crisis everywhere and it's something that we have to be cognizant of. Environmental conservation, and we also have to look at Negril and its 7 Mile Beach, which we have to ensure that it's preserved. So collaboratively with other agencies, we look at environmental conservation and preserving the natural beauty and resources. Negalpa has responsibility for manages a craft market, which showcase authentic Jamaican craftsmanship. So we'll have visitors, along with other persons to the area who would visit the craft market. During COVID would have been one of the times when we would have processed a lot more development applications, and persons would question as to what may have happened at the time. But although persons were working from home, we had to put things in place where persons could actually drop their application. Because I'm not sure, because persons were not at home and looking at the space that they had, they were not prone to, how can I renovate a room? How can I add a room? So during that time, we processed a lot more applications than we had previously. We look at effective community engagement. We attend meetings with different stakeholders. Our officers who are planning officers, we do the inspections, which are done daily, weekly, and our inspections are done with other agencies such as NEPA, NLA, because in orderly planning and development, we would not only look at development per se, but we also have to look at what is around. So we'll have lands that we also have to manage to ensure that we don't have informal settlements. So we'll do inspections with other agencies with responsibility for such. We look at for the planning process. For the past 3 years, we would have processed 460 odd applications, 64 applications, and these applications were processed for residential development, commercial, industrial, filling stations, and resorts. These applications would have been processed and presented to our board for a decision, and then they would be forwarded to the NEPA for consideration approval by the Town and Country Planning Authority. We look at, I'd speak about collaborative partnerships with other agencies. We do have a strong relationship with the local authorities because We work very closely with them and other government agencies. We look at the promotion of environmental friendly practices and green infrastructure integration in new developments, which would be a balanced approach to development and considering social and economic environmental impacts. One of what we did shortly in the last 3 years, we would have situation where we have to look at the costs for blueprints. And what we did was to actually allow developers to submit to us a draft of their development via email, wherein we would look at this as pre-processing. Sorry, we refer to it as a pre-processing of your application. So you would send all the details to us and we will be able to give you a feedback within 48 hours. So after you would have made all your changes, you resubmit to us again as it relates to pre-processing. You would send an email to us with what the changes we required. Then we would give you the go-ahead and say, okay, you can now go ahead to print and come in to submit. Because we thought it was important to do that.
Stoop and cover the back of your neck and your face.
When it comes to earthquakes, it's everyone's responsibility to know what to do. To protect the most vulnerable among us, the St. Elizabeth Fire Department has partnered with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, to raise awareness in schools, teaching students and staff alike how to respond during the earthquake.
When there is an earthquake, you can have secondary hazards, and it is important for the students and staff to know how to respond in an emergency of such. Based on our evaluation, we would have given the schools commendation on their response. The students and staff, they were very much au fait with the different response that they should take in an earthquake drill.
Lowering the sodium content in children's diets today can help prevent heart disease later in their life, especially for those who are overweight. Shake the salt habit, shop smart and cook smart. Use less or no salt when cooking. Try using fresh herbs and seasonings to add more flavor. Limit the consumption of salty snacks. Take the time to carefully read the nutrition labels on food products to identify those high in salt and choose the healthier options. Remember, no more than 2 grams of salt per day from all food sources for children under 11 years of age.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.